Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. I hope you are all having a great weekend. So today I wanted to do a video discussing more, a little bit in depth in highlighting and contouring, how you highlight and contour, and where you want to put those spots on your face. So this is kind of like a basic video. It's not too in depth. I use a little bit of creams and some powders, so you will see how I do kind of like my basic contour if I'm going to be using creams and powders. So I really hope you guys like it, and I use some drugstore, I use some high-end products, I use a mixture of items. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. And yeah, that is about it guys. I hope you like this video, and if you want to see how I did some contouring today, then keep watching. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight first. I like to do them separately. I know sometimes you'll see people do the highlight and the contour and then they blend it all at once. I like to do it separately. I just find it easier for me, and I can make sure I keep the colors where I want them. So basically with highlighting, you use lighter colors to bring forward areas of the face that you want more attention to. So a lot of times you'll see people highlight their forehead, which is what I'm gonna do. Also, just because you see someone do something does not mean you need to highlight that area. So the reason why I highlight these two areas is I have a relatively small forehead. It's not a big forehead. If you have a huge forehead and you want it to look smaller, you're not gonna wanna put a bunch of highlight in the center. If you have a really pointy chin, you're not gonna wanna put highlight there if that's something you don't want noticeable. If I turn to the side, you can see my side profile. And I consider my bone structure, I have something considered a weak chin, whereas the chin bone does not come out as far as I want it to. Thus why I always have a double chin no matter how much I weigh. I can weigh 105, right now I weigh 111. It's always there and it never goes, and it's because of my bone structure. So I'm gonna tap out this highlight because I want that chin to look like it's more noticeable. By the way, I'm using Tarte Shape Tape in Fair Neutral. So we're gonna go ahead and bounce that out. So now I'm going to conceal my under eyes with this as well. Now, I know so many people love this concealer. I have to use moisturizer under my eye. It just makes my under eyes look way too crepey. If you want really bright, go down even lighter in your concealer. Bring it down here if you want. It all depends on your particular face shape and where you want to bring more light and where you want things to be more pronounced. I'm gonna go in and now I'm gonna blend this out. Make sure you blend it down like this so those edges are blended out. I'm gonna use both the drugstore and high-end products. Use whatever you like and feel free to use what I'm using. So I'm gonna go in and set my under eyes right away before I go in with cream contour, because my eyes crease very easily. Before I set it, I'm making sure there's nothing stuck in any wrinkles. I'm gonna go in with Maybelline Matte and Poreless Translucent Powder. Alright, I didn't set the rest of my face yet. I'm going to be going in, I actually haven't used this concealer for contouring, but I wanted to try it because I do see a lot of people using it. It's the LA Girl Pro Conceal. I tried using the concealer and I had to wipe it off. When I went to Ulta, the lightest color was taken. This was the second to lightest color. It was extremely dark, and this color is light ivory. I don't know about that because my skin's very fair right now. This looked extremely orange on me and it was way too dark. It was darker than my foundation. And my foundation is called, what is it? Sand 1W2. And this is light ivory and it was way too dark. So unfortunately I did not get to try these under the eye because the second lightest shade was way too dark. So anyway, I can't tell you how that is, but we're gonna go ahead and try using it to contour. I ended up picking up which I wish I got a lighter color now because it seems like they look a lot darker once they get on your face. I got the color Toast. So let's give this a whirl. So now, like I said with the highlight, you put highlights where you want things to be more noticeable and to pop out more. Contouring is the opposite. You want to create shadows and hide things. So when you put contour here, if you go like this, you can see where the natural hollow is. That's where you want to put your contour. You want to create more of a deeper shadow so your face looks more slender. So you might want to make that funny face so you can see where you want to put the cream. So, and typically it runs from your ear to here. See that? I don't know how dark this is or how much I should use, so I'm going to go in with a light hand. So you draw a line like so. Okay? I'm going to blend that out first because I haven't used these before and I'm not sure how I'm going to like these. So I'm going to go in with my sponge again. We're gonna blend it out. It's probably a little too dark. Now if I'm doing a really quick look, I won't do creams, I just go straight in with powders. You also want to push your contour up because you don't want that shadow going down here. You want it to be right in the hollow and bring it up. You do not want it down here. Now, obviously, I need a much lighter shade. This was way too dark for me. So I actually am going to have to use a little bit of concealer. I mean, foundation to go over that because I went a little too bananas. Disguise it a little bit. A lot of people will contour first and then they'll go over with their foundation. So that's always a trick you could do as well. So if you do go in too dark, you go in with the foundation and you can see we're still seeing that line there because I went a little crazy with that. It's a little too dark. But we didn't set the face yet, so that's okay because we're just putting more creams on, so that's fine. All right, guys. Typically, if I was gonna use something like this to contour my nose, I'll show you with powders, but I would go in with the cream first. Now, just like I said, if you have a big forehead or a small forehead, it's going to depend how you contour. If you have a smaller forehead like me, I'm going to put more lightness in this area, and I'm just going to contour or bronze the outer perimeters just to give me some color. If you have a larger forehead, you're going to want to contour up here. You're going to bring the brown in more, and if you want, just highlight a little. So it all depends on your face shape. If you want it smaller, use more contouring. If you want it larger, use more highlighting. All right? And I'm really going to press this into the skin. This really helps my makeup last all day. I'm gonna go in with my Anastasia Contour Kit. I really like this palette and I've had it a really long time. I go in, depends what you like. I like this brush because it is fatter, but it gets a little bit tapered. So I'll use the tip of that and then I go in like that with my contour. I'm gonna go in with a mixture of these two colors here. I tap into them. Now I like this palette because you get pigment, but it's also not too much. And I'll dip in with this a few times to get the color that I want. So I'm gonna take this, and like I said, I'm going to run it along the perimeter of my forehead because when you highlight and contour, you want to do it evenly. You don't want to just contour your cheeks and have no other contouring on your face because then it's super noticeable. So I'm just blending it around the perimeter of my hairline here. By the way, for my foundation, I use the Estee Lauder. This is probably what I'm going to use for my makeup foundation. It looks so nice, especially if you take something and pat powder in your face. It really makes the pores disappear. So now a huge thing I like to contour is my jawline. As I mentioned when I was highlighting, I'm not too fond of this area of my face. So again, I would have taken liquid, but that's too dark. And I run the liquid all along my jawline, blend it out first, and then I'll go in with the powders. If you're scared to contour for the first time, go in with creams and then put foundation over and see what you think. I'm going to dip into this one here. It's not quite as warm as that one, with this brush. And when you're using a brush like this, you're recreating where you want your nose line to be. If you have a super slender nose, you're not going to want to do this. You don't need to. If you want it to appear more noticeable, take highlighter and put it down the bridge of your nose and blend it out. Whereas me, I didn't bother with the highlight because I'm trying to contour it. The closer you put the lines, the more pinched it's going to make your nose look. I did a previous video with these and I wasn't too fond of them, but I'm really liking it with the powder. The foundation I used before was the Becca foundation, which I loved, but for some reason the new bottle I got is horrible. I tried it again today with regular brushes and my foundation was coming off with whatever product I was trying to put over it. So I've come to the conclusion it might not have been these brushes that were causing the patchiness. It might have been my foundation. So I'm going to give these another try with cream products, but right now with the powder, it's putting it on nicely. I'm going to go over with just a big brush, just over top of them. You think that you brought your contour down too low, the tip is to take some loose powder. I'm going to take my Laura Mercier, I don't have a lot left. You're going to take your sponge and you're going to put the powder underneath the contour. I'm sure you've heard of this technique called baking. It's going to help sharpen up the contour, especially if you think you brought it way too low. You put it next to these lines, that's also going to help pinch the nose in even more. I'm going to go in with this orangey shade there. So now for highlighting, again, you want to highlight where you want things to look lifted. If you want your cheekbones more noticeable, that's obviously a very common spot. I'm going to go in with my Becca Opal highlighter. Go in with this e.l.f. brush here. My highlighter broke, so I'm really sad. I'm going to take it and I'm dusting it along this cheekbone here where I want it to look more elevated. Then I'm going to put it on the tip of my nose here. And then I'm going to take a little on my finger. I'm going to put it in between those two lines, because that's going to bring attention to that pinched area right there. So we're going to wipe away that baking now with my fluffy brush, and you can watch my wipe it away. See, look. See how it helped create that nice sharp line? You can see it over there. Take it, and I kind of brush it all over the nose because it helps blend those lines a little bit more. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and finish my lower lash line and lipstick, and I will be right back. Alright guys, so I'm done with that. Now when you have done everything and you think you're all done, finish with a setting spray, especially if you've been using a lot of powders, because it's going to help absorb some of those powders and make it melt into the skin a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and use my Scandinavia finishing spray. was a really nice thin mist. So that's pretty much some basics on highlighting and contouring. Use creams first, then go in with powders. You can put contour under foundation, you can put it over the foundation as long as it's cream. Use creams with creams. But yeah, guys, so that is a basic on highlighting and contouring. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.